almost 4 years ago, I started learning Hungarian. In September 2021, I remember because I have a notebook where I wrote down the date. And I wanted to learn this weird and isolated language because it's my grandma's mother tongue. And I kind of felt like it was my duty to get to know her in her real identity, if that makes sense. And I honestly thought it would be much easier because, first of all, I dabbled in different languages like in Italian, French, German during my high school years, just out of curiosity, but I didn't really learn much. And I was told by several teachers that I had a lot of talent with languages and that my pronunciation was very good and like my understanding of the patterns of different languages and whatnot. And I also thought I knew much more than what I knew in Hungarian because I visited my grandma every year and she would always kind of talk to me in Hungarian and a bit of Romanian. And I'm glad I was delulu enough to believe that because I don't know if I would have otherwise started. Like if I'd known that it would be this hard. And even though my confidence exceeded my competence, I was still very determined. Like I wanted to learn that language. I wanted to speak to my grandma in her mother tongue, and I really wanted to learn how to read and write in that language. And I didn't really know much about language learning at that time, so I did what I knew, which was YouTube. Um, so I remember integrating a very like I remember integrating a very like thorough routine. Like every day before university, I would watch a YouTube video, very simple vocabulary, just a little story here and there, and I would take notes on this. And over the years, I kept adding new methods, getting rid of other methods, and I was understanding more and more, not only about the language, but also about myself and about how I learn. And I did a lot of things that, with the knowledge that I now have, I would deem as stupid. Like, I remember overwhelming in grammar from the very beginning. I wouldn't recommend that. I also remember listening to way too complicated podcasts. I remember reading painfully boring children's books, and I even copied word for word a little notebook I had about meditation. So, not the best methods, but thinking in hindsight now, what if, thanks to these stupid things that I did, I was able to break down that entry barrier that you usually have when you learn a language that vastly differs from your own? Because I hear a lot of people that say like you shouldn't read children's books, you should read things that you're interested in, blah blah. Children's books was the only thing I had back then because, first of all, like Hungarian, it's not that widely spread, and there is not a lot of content out there. Like it's very limited, I would say. So I'm glad I didn't listen to these people that was saying that reading children's books is not a good approach, blah blah blah, because it was working for me. Like, yes, they were painfully boring, but I kept doing it. I kept reading day after day, page after page. Like, okay, I don't know this word, now I know it, and I was building my vocabulary. I kind of wanted to talk a bit about this because I feel like nowadays there are a lot of videos about like the perfect formula. Do this specific protocol, and in 30 days you will be fluent, and blah 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 and whatnot. And look, I have no problem with like well-made videos and very informative videos about how someone learned the language. Like I like seeing different journeys. I feel like sharing your journey can help someone on the same kind of journey. Like that's why I'm doing this also. But my problem comes when you see someone praising some method, you try that method, and it doesn't work for you, and you start questioning your abilities instead of questioning the method. And on the other side, also, when people when some methods get thrown into the bin and you completely dismiss them without even trying, I don't think that's a good approach either. Maybe for this person, this didn't work, but for you, for some reason, it works. Because this is such a, there's no incorrect way of learning. Like, you cannot learn something in an incorrect way. There are methods more effective or less effective, but you never know until you try it. And my phone, my computer is dying. Okay. My point with this is, I always like to try new things. Like, I tried translating certain things, not translating, and just looking up the definition. I tried this, I tried that. And now I have a sense of who I am as a learner. I have a sense of what's going to work for me or what's not going to work for me. But I'm always trying new things and experimenting with different things. Like, I don't need someone online telling me that this works or this doesn't. It's not enough for me. I have to try it for myself. And this is what I want you to do as well. Like, if you hear me say something that, for me, for example, reading and listening to podcasts, that those are the best methods for me. Like, those are the best kind of sources of input that I have. But maybe for you, other type of source is way more engaging and way better. And I also feel like when you start treating language learning as a lifestyle, things completely change, because you start to realize that there is no perfect formula, that you're constantly adjusting to your life. Like, now I'm in this period of my life, this is how much time I can dedicate to this language, and blah blah blah. And another thing that has to do a lot with this is also this notion that we have of time. Like, whenever someone asks me, like, how long does it take to learn a language, I feel like this inquiry lacks substance, because I don't know, like, for how long do you want that language in your life? Like, I'm literally learning every day, well, not every day, but almost every day, new things about my mother tongue. So to me, like, how long does it take to learn a language? That's pretty superficial. I like other questions, like, how can I integrate this language into my, again, lifestyle, into my routine? How can I make it part of my life? How can I integrate it, like, get it so under my skin that I don't even have to think about learning it, you know? Because when you learn a language for, like, over the years, you start to realize, like, okay, in this period of my life, I was I was into the details. Like, I wanted to know every single detail about the grammar, about this very sophisticated vocabulary. But then there were other periods where I just wanted to take in the language. I didn't want to think about the details of the language, just the content. Sometimes I just took a break from it. I did not want to hear anything about that language, and that's okay. Like, all these cycles and this adjustments, it's kind of like what it is, like what language learning really is about. And just as a final thought, I think it's also very important to be in touch with this reality, because for me, it's also hard sometimes to kind of, because sometimes I feel stuck, but it's not that kind of stuck of like, okay, I'm in the beginning stages and I'm progressing very much, but then I hit a plateau level and I'm stuck here, because it's not really being stuck. It's just that progress is very slow and it's kind of frustrating. But I'm thinking about the kind of stuck when you think you're putting the effort in, when in reality you're prioritizing other things. And this kind of mismatch between the reality and your goals, it's kind of what frustrates me the most about developing skills or just being a learner in general. Because sometimes, sometimes I prioritize my social life, and that's something that everyone should do at some point in their life. Like, you should prioritize your social relationships. Like, you cannot, I don't see myself functioning as an individual. I'm not into this like hustle culture, lonely wolf. I don't really believe in that. I believe in taking your time to be alone for some time, but not completely disengaging from society as if you were able to live by yourself. Anyways, that's another conversation. But I know that I sometimes have different priorities, but I don't, that, like, sometimes I'm not aware of that. And that's what makes things a bit more frustrating. So now it's like, okay, Chris, like today you've prioritized your social life. So that means you need a bit more patience. But it completely, like, when you have this balance of like, okay, I know I did this because I also want this type of lifestyle, so I have to be a bit more patient with myself, because sometimes I feel like I lack this kind of compassion of like, there are other things in life. And yeah, I just wanted to share that little thought I had. So just to sum up, first of all, I think you need like a vision, like some goals in general. Like I wanted to talk to my grandma in her mother tongue, and I wanted to read and write in that language. Then you have to be able to decide for yourself what works for you and what doesn't. So experiment. Third of all, time. Like everyone has a different rhythm, so embrace your pace, I guess. And lastly, make sure that you are in touch with reality and that your lifestyle aligns with your vision. I hope this helped you somehow. I hope you can help someone, and I will see you in the next one.